Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and wherever you listen to this. Is a Knowledge Seekers from Keshe Foundation Spiritual Institute. We're still battling to understand time. We're still trying to see actually what time does to us and how we can use the time to develop structure, understand the working of the universe. Fields travel the span of the universe. They have no identity of location. They have no identity of place, position, and position. They have no identity of the motion or intelligence or enlightenment. Time starts when the two meet, the two times meet, and lead to total structure. Everything has to be in sequence, everything has to be in order for the real time of what we call life starts. Rays travel the span of the universe. They take shape individually. They find a mass which can hold them on in a given space. And when the energy side time comes in, it gives it life. It gives it motion. It gives it existence. In a way, each time created by the structure, it has a heartbeat. And when the two heartbeats meet, creates life. In a way, when you have two connected to each other, you create a dynamic life, human body. When one is out of the sequence, you get a storm. When the two reach a point of balance, we call it death. In a way, when the one does not need the other, but locks into to exist because of the other. We see that in the womb of the mother. An egg and a sperm, two different heartbeats, both having a soul. They come together. But to create a unison soul, they battle it for days and months, maybe weeks, hours, depending on the animal, depending on the creature, till the two decide to have a harmonized heartbeat. This is the time when the actual soul of a child, the time starts. Very much like the soul of physicality and the soul of the man, one is beating different than the other. And when the two become one, the new life in the span of the universe starts. This is when the soul of physicality time become embedded in the soul of the man as an energy time. The point of death. The point the time is over, a new cycle starts. Exactly the same as it happens in the womb of the mother. When the two divide and come to a point, then one unified heartbeat, one unified soul takes over. It's the time when the life, when the real life takes time and position. Then again, it comes to what we call the death of one, the time of separation, the time where what we see, then this single soul within the womb of the mother now has a new position, because now this is an external time which is sits within the body of the mother and has to work with the soul of the mother. And when it comes to a point where the two field balances out, one moves in a direction, we call it the physical birth of the man. This is exactly what happens. What we call the time of life. We celebrate, this is my birthday, but in fact, this is the Birth, the time and manifestation of the physicality, where the true birthday of the soul of the man has taken place months before, when one unified soul has started in the womb of the mother. When man realizes this and develops technologies which can see the unison's soul in the interaction of the two souls which entered interaction, that's the time when abortion has to stop. Where there is identity, there is a life. Where there is what we call clear decision making as one. This is the time when comes to us, we come to a point, we go now, instead of being in the womb of the mother to get a physical birth, at the point of the maturity, separation, and connection between the soul of physicality of the man and the soul of the man, decide to give birth to a new dimension of position and place, where the soul manifests itself in another dimension. That's the time of the birth of the what we call new cycle. How this new soul interacts with the dimension where it manifests itself into, creates a new cycle, a new time, a new understanding, and a new waves of fields, balance of fields and radiation, which itself by its environment creates a new cycle of life. A star, a galaxy, a dust which has no energy has to be interacted, position, way of closeness to the creator, to the central energy, and the rest of it. This is what gradually time means to man. Man has to understand the way the true birthday of the man comes when the soul is created within the womb of the mother from two separate souls. That's the true birth of the man. This is where we call the birth of Mitra, the children of the Mitra. We birth, we celebrate the time of the birth, not in a physical condition, but in the time when the single soul manifests itself. This is where the individual takes shape. We don't have this with the stone. We don't have this with the trees. We don't have this with anything else, except when there is a true cycle of life is created. We see this in the egg of a chicken. We see this in the whales, in the oceans. We see this when two fishes lay egg on the bed of a rock in the river of life. One creates and one is not in balance with his environment, takes time, leaves the nest, creates a new time. In the coming time, man will understand how and where his soul will start a new life when it separates in balance with dimension of the energies of the physicality of the man. Nowadays, if you are certain path of Christianity, you have a birthday and then you have a birth name day, which means if you're born in, let's say, 5th of the month and your birthday names come 25th or whatever, then you have two birthdays. In fact, man has the same. One is the birth of connection of the two souls to become one in the womb of the mother, which is the actual true birth. And then one, the physical birth, which we see, we celebrate because we are all too physical. Mankind one day will come to understand the limitation of its understanding on the matter state has in a way affected his vision of understanding the totality of the life in the universe. You can put two stones together, create a condition, and the two souls of the two stones will lead to a new life. if man knows how to do. If you create a condition of the place that it releases, creates, or develops the condition that the two souls can meet, then you create the soul of, and then emergence of a new life. This is in fact how some lives on this planet start taking shape. They can be for years on their own, till the condition of the fields of the environment, the place changes, which allows the rotation, the dynamic structure of the life within the structure to start. This is how seeds grow. This is how eggs of fish in the depths of the desert after years suddenly come to life. The change in the field of the place, which allows the motion of the possession and opposition. Time starts. It's the same with the soul of the man. Man can be ignorant in the dimension of the enlightenment, and by change of the position and the position leads to motion that it brings in the enlightenment. Now we understand that the time can be dictated, the time can place and position, the time has to be given, and the time needs to be. In the future, as man becomes more aware of the decision making of the creation of the children of Mitra, man will understand which child is born through the soul and which child is born through the physicality. As the soul of the parents, the two decide in this way: I give birth to a child of Mitra. Or it comes out of physical love, which can create a child of the physicality of the man. In so many ways, we see this pattern of work in some cultures, like Chinese. They decide months and years and whatever, they bring their body to be, they eat certain foods, they follow certain patterns, thus they plan in such and such a day, they create a child. I've seen a few in my time in China. In a way, it's not just the mother prepares the body to receive a child, the father follows the same. We don't understand this tradition in the West. In some sectors of the Chinese culture, both father and mother plan, prepare the body, that the child in the dimension of physicality, when it's conceived, it will be the best. It will be perfect, pure, and in every other sense. In the West, we don't understand this. Then now we understand. But again, that is done on the dimension of the physicality. Man has to learn how to connect to his soul, that it leads out of its physical dimension of interaction to preparation of the soul to be released, and soul to be interacted. Then this way, you never get children of rapes. Then you see the purity of the children of Mitra. It's not by following a way of eating or a pattern of life. It becomes a pattern of thoughts. You prepare the body to release the energy of the creation and not the physicality of the creation. I made man in the image of myself. I created Mitra to bring the children of me across through the fields of my love and not through my physicality and interaction. Man will understand how time, the place, the position, the emotion, the intelligence, and the enlightenment have to work together to lead to creation of the perfect soul, that it leads to the creation of the children of Mitra in time appointed and decided by the two souls. Man will know the difference between the time when a child is created out of the emotion, intelligence, and enlightenment, and a child which is created out of the place, the position. The enlightenment of the children of Mitra is totally different than the enlightenment of the children of the man. We got to understand, as man enters the true space technology in the coming time, as we fall in love with other creatures of the universe, as man knows the emotion of love, physical condition to create a child to start the time is impossibility. Then the man with what he falls in love with, the only chance, the only opportunity for them to create the fruit, the flower of their love is through the interaction of the fields of emotion, intelligence, and enlightenment. The creation of the children of Mitra. This is why where the time starts, where the two in match lead to creation of a new light, new life. This is why we teach and will bring you to understand how you will interact in the space. When we take the man out of the village of earth, man has to understand the consequence of interaction. Here we see a Chinese interacts with a black, and what beautiful children they make. We see an Asian and European, what beautiful children they make. Now imagine the children of the what we call Mitra, out of the energy where there is no physical interaction, perfection in its every meaning, creation of new time, new life, new understanding. In a way, everything has to be perfect to start a new time. Then you understand the emotion, you understand what intellect you're handling, and then the enlightenment brings you to understand we are equal. We are the same, we are from the same creator. There is no racism in the space, except comes in the short mind of the man. One day, when the first encounters become as today's encounter of the races of the man, we all see when the children of Mitra walk amongst us. They'll be loved by all, they'll be adored by all, they're educated of all, and they understand that they carry the knowledge of the universe and not just the knowledge of physicality of the man. Mankind has to understand the creation of time, because in time man will be punished by misunderstanding the real true structure of the creation of the life in the universe according to the time of his establishment, according to the time of his cycle, according to the time of his what we call maturity. Man makes children out of interaction of physicality. The creator makes children out of interaction of fields. Does not need physicality. Once we understand this, we can control the transmutation. We can control the transportation. We walk the physicality of the earth to enjoy its dimension, but at the same time, we can transfer into the energy to create a temporary time to travel across the span of the earth, universe, or the unicosmos. It does not come in the dimension of, it does not come because of, it comes through the process of the interaction. And only of the fields, and no dimension of physicality. Even if you convert your appearance to the dimension of physicality, creating the children of man will become rather impossible, as the blood created carries different dimension and information according to the existence, unless you master the game. Try to understand how you can change the dimension of the fields of the place, position and position, and how you can bring the enlightenment, connect to emotion, and bring intelligence. Then man will be able to conquer not only the life on this planet for everlasting life, but be able to travel the span of the universe and enjoy all its beauties. One simple reason: if you travel the dimension of time, you're stuck with thousands of the light years to get to somewhere, and your life is meager 50, 60 years. Forget the other numbers of millions and hundreds of hours or days ahead. The only way you can travel the span of the universe is through the time of the enlightenment. Everlasting life comes through the energy side and not from the matter side, the dimension of physicality. I'm made man in the image of myself, and I'm too clever to have a physical image. But man sees it according to his own understanding, and that's why he still believes I'm in the skies and in another position, and is still tricking himself to heaven and hell. It's got to be understood that the time in the energy has a common denominator in time in the what we call the physical side, place, position, and position. And that connection has always been the dimension of the interaction of the emotions. In a way, the yin and yang, in a way, when you sign the infinity loop, on one side is the emotion of the man in the dimension of physicality, and one side is emotion of the man in the dimension of the energy. The emotion is the controller, is a connector between the two. Then it comes for you to understand further where even the time of the cell in the body of the man is either through the emotion. You try, you do everything you like in the dimension of physicality. You call yourself the king, you call yourself a man, you call yourself an ant. It does not make any difference. When the connection between emotion of the physicality and the emotion of the soul comes into play, you will get cancer, because the emotion of physicality has informed the emotion of the soul. I had enough. Start counting. Find a way for me to go. Breast cancer, prostate cancer, and everything else. In a way, the cancer is the time when the soul of the emotion and the soul of physicality tick together. time of separation. I'm not happy with the physical life. I leave it to you to bring the fields, the energies, which decides the time of separation. Does not matter. If this cancer, we call it cancer of physicality, we call it the cancer of emotion, we call it the cancer of evolution. You call it the cancer, I call it a cancel, which means I cancel my time in the dimension of physicality. I leave it to the dimension of the energy to decide where and how fast. Depending on the depth of the emotion I suffer in the dimension of physicality, I call the time. Time is out. I cannot handle the fields of the emotion, the place, the position, and position. Now the time of the separation is handed over to the soul, to what we call the energies side of the time of the man. What you eat, how you live, and how you extend that time in the dimension of physicality, which it transfers itself in the dimension of emotion. The true everlasting life comes through the energy side and not through the physicality. Maybe you understand exactly where you stand with yourself. Is the emotion of the soul and the emotion of physicality in harmony? Then man does not need to suffer with disability and all the pains of the late years in the dimension of physicality, where you can live a perfect life to the last minutes when the transition takes place. This is how we see, this is how you see, this is how we observe the existence of this, what we call village of the man. Maybe one day, man will consume the soul of the plants, energy which they don't need. Man consumes the soul of the animals, which their energy is not needed by them. Then man finds out he live in the dimension of physicality much, much longer than when he consumes the flesh of the animal and the plants and the rest. In a way, self-preservation comes out of understanding the work of the time between the both dimensions. If one day man learns to live through the energies of the universe, man will last thousands of years in the physical dimension of the physicality. Then you'll find out you can transmute across the universe the same way. It's the understanding of the true time. I have a time in the dimension of energy, and I have a time in the dimension of physicality. And if I can work through the dimension of physicality, I can bring the dimension of the soul to be able to let me know, to inform me, to connect with me. That brings me in a position and a place and time where I can enjoy the position and the what we call the place at the same time. Man calls this a wish. In a way, when you make a wish, you create a slot of time next to, This is my wish. And then when that energy in that sort of time comes to be in balance with the side of the energy side, it manifests itself. We do that with our children. He says, what do you want for your birthday? I wish to have a teddy bear. And then that teddy bear appears on the birthday to complete the wish. Man wishes through the dimension of physicality, and the soul delivers it when the time imbalance of time is perfect. Man's body, the system has built structures to teach this to man, but again, like what we call a dream, man has eluded himself to understand the truth about the dream and the truth about his wishes. As the wish comes out of the emotion side of the man, and then it connects with the emotion side of the soul and the energy of the man, and the rest is to accommodate. How pure the wish is. In the dimension of physicality, we interfere with it. We call it Santa Claus, we call it magic, whatever. But we create that Santa Claus, we create that magic for the child to receive what he wishes. But the soul of the man does that in the dimension of energy for the physicality of the man. How many times in the lowest point and the highest point you have made a wish to do this, to have this, or you made a long wish to achieve something and it comes true. Now you understand the reason. Because you leave it in the hand of the time, of the emotion, of the energy side. And that works in the background to bring you to that point. Is that holding your hand across the time for your wish to come true? Where in the real life, the mother or the father holds your hand to take you to the shop for that teddy bear to appear. We don't see the hands of the soul. We don't see the hands of the emotion. We don't see the hands of the guidance of the energy side, where it takes the man physically across to get that wish done. And we say, I wished it and it happened. Now you understand the process of the wish. You understand the process of a dream. To create a time when it's right for that wish to come true. Now you have to understand the same process. The wish and the dream have come together to create the transmutation of the man, creation of the thought, where the soul of the physicality hands over itself to the dimension of the soul of the man, that he can take man across to get his wish, to become, to be able to transmute. We drag the soul with us to create new time for it to be, because we control the physicality. In a wish, in a dream, the control is in the hand of the energy side of the emotion. In a way, a hidden friend. In a way, a hidden structure that we denied, and then we live by it because we don't want to accept its existence. It's like a lover we have with ourselves, but we don't introduce it to no one because it's hidden there in his mind. Then you understand how those of you who attended most probably the Lens exhibition, and in some of the points and places in what we call monthly teachings or tests and trials, I stay quiet. Because when I interfere, the wish comes through, because I know how the energy of the soul will bring the physicality to see the dream, to have the wish, to go through the cycle. Then you understand how it works. I create a wish, and you bring the physicality of the soul of emotion to create and see the wish. Now you understand what the magic was. Those of you who attended them, in a way, Lynn's exhibition trials, how many of you came in and you sat? And I said, enjoy the time. And after a while, I came in and I said, you can go to the moon. I created the wish. I created the energy, and you matched to meet. This is how you have to learn to transmute. This is how you have to learn to create a time for transmutation, to bring the emotion of the physicality and the emotion of the soul of the man, the energy side, in balance to work together, and you transmute. This is the secret. But till you don't understand, till you don't really comprehend the work of your own structure, this becomes impossibility. In the whole of the trial of past 2 or 3 years, I've seen 2 people who can do it. We have a lady from Germany who can wish and receives, and she, without knowing, has understood the process. But she knows a lot, because the wish in the dimension of physicality and the wish in the dimension of energy matches, because it's pure, because there is not tainted with something else. We create the time through the wish. It's like you play chess and you push the clock, and the clock has so much to run till the move is made. You need to understand this to be able to transmute. You need to understand this to bring a dimension in the condition of the interaction of physical life on this planet and in the space. You need to understand this to be able to feed yourself, that you separate your life in the dimension of physicality and the energy that your die shall not kill. Understanding the separate times in the collection of the existence of the time of the soul will allow you to have many wishes with their own clock ticking in the dimension of the time of the soul of the man, and in the dimension of the soul of physicality of the man, which is the matter state condition. It's time to understand the true working of the universe through the time of their own, and not to the time man has created for itself on this planet. Your time is 24 hours a day. The time of the life is the time of the universe from the beginning. And you have to find where you can match this into that, where one side of you works with the time of the universe, what we call the soul, what you call your dream, what you call your wish, and one works in dimension of physicality. You drag this physical body across every place and position to get to what you wish in the dimension of physicality. You drag the body to a supermarket to get an ice cream because it was the wish of physicality. You cannot drag the soul of the man, the energy side, to go to supermarket to enjoy the same. But if you understood, you sit in the same place, you wish to taste the beauty of the energy of the ice cream, and the soul of the man will provide it. Because you give it the time. I need that taste and the pleasure now. The time starts. And it's a servant to supply, to deliver, to connect, to bring the emotion and the energy. Now maybe you understand more how you can feed yourself in the space and how you can bring the wish to create the condition of the emotion of the physicality. In a way, you bring the energy through the dimension of the universal side and deliver it to the physicality, that it creates the place, the position, and the position. This is how the creator feeds itself. And when would the man learn? Understand the bigger picture and understand the smaller picture, which creates that short times that allows you to have, you call it a dream, you call it a wish, and then you bring everything to be together. Now, play a game with yourself and you understand how mature you become to connect. Make a wish and go to sleep. Go to your dreamland and see if that wish happens in the dimension of the dream. Then you understand how much you have matured to bring the emotion of physicality connected to the emotion of the energy. I wish I meet my mom tonight. She passed away years ago. And wake up tomorrow morning and see if you remember dreaming about the mom. In fact, you brought the two together. Short fuse to long-term fuse. Your wish becomes the connection between you and the connection with the universal energies. The new headset you see on the screen is developed to create that condition. The wishes of physicality in the dimension of the connection to the soul, that it creates the condition for the manifestation of the wish. The emotion which the wish creates connects to the emotion that the soul connects. We are entering a phase where we bring the dimension of physicality in the dimension connection with the universal energies. In a way, you float within the energy of the universe, but you control in the dimension of the energy of the fields of the emotion of the man. You call it in the physicality, I want food. In the dimension of the emotion, you say, I wish food, I wish energy. And then in that emotion of the hunger, you connect to the energies of the soul of the man, which feeds the man. That's why you shall never kill, because you know to leave it to the master to provide. Have you seen how the child jumps when he gets what he wished? That's the dance of the soul of the man when he gives and observes the soul of physicality of the man when he receives his wish. Have you ever wished to see your lover and he or she appears out of nowhere, and how it fulfills you? Then you understand the name of the game. I want, I kill for it. I want, I wish for it. Wish is that time of the fulfillment of the energy side, which brings the satisfaction of physicality. In a way, I set out the field strength which I need at this position and time. And the soul will bring it, choose it, and places it to be the strength you needed. In the future, I'll teach you more how to play with this wish time. And then you can even bring it to become the dimension of real physical emotion, in touch, in sense, in love, and the rest of it. In a way, I make you a traveler of the transmutation, but within the structure of the field energy of the time, place, and position, where the soul gives a part of it to satisfy the physicality of it. It's not all one way. The knowledge of time, the existence of the wish, and the existence of understanding the emotion is the key for man to be able to travel the span of the universe as a physicality, as limitation of existence. Then you know how to be on the moon within seconds, where they spend billions of dollars to do it in days and hours. Transmutation to the transfer of energy of the emotion. And you can test yourself how much you mature and how much you have developed an understanding of the transmutation and transportation of the energy of the emotion between the two sides, the physical side and the emotional side or the energy side. Try to understand and comprehend the totality. Then man in time will understand the individuality. Understand what I explained about the creation of the soul of the man's child in the womb of the mother, or placing the energy of the soul of the daughter of Mitra within the womb of the mother, where the existing dimension of the environment, the place, leads to creation of the child. The time of a start. In the physical life, you leave an egg and a sperm to balance to create the life. With the children of Mitra, you place the energy fields of the soul of the child, that the environment of the place of the womb of the mother leads to manifestation of the physicality of the child. One is wish, and one is the energy of the dream. If you understood that, then you understand how easy it shall be to create a perfect child. The children of Mitra, anywhere in the universe, as I wish it, and as is created through the time, the span of the position, place, and position to satisfy the wishes of the energy side of the environment of the life. Same outcome, two different opposite dimensions. One placing physicality to create, one placing the energy to create, but the same environment, the womb of the mother. That womb can be an egg, that womb can be a universe, that womb can be a unicos. Depends on the energy level which one puts into the wish, into the manifestation of the time that leads to creation of the structure, connection to the bigger time. Try to understand the teaching of today. Then you understand how to create the children of Mitra. Then you understand the connection between your wish and your dream. And then you start learning how to become the transmutation, transportation, and every other dimension that the man wants to travel the span of the universe. Physicality is the donkey. The wish and the energies of the universe is the jumbo jet. You have to choose the time. The wish and the dream, the physicality and the suffering. Then you understand the new dimension of life. Then you understand how what you ignored is actually the tools of your life that you never understood. Wish comes out of emotion. And the emotion is the only connection between the dimension of the physicality and the dimension of the fields of the energy of the universe. You have to time it right, that it matches into the time, and you achieve the what we call the ultimate goal, to receive in the dimension of the energy that it transfers, embeds itself in the dimension of physicality, and you receive, and you call it a magic, you call it everything else, but you never understood the connection between the two. In a way short time of the physicality section, given to the time in the energy side, which tries to match. And when it matches, the wish comes through. Depends, you do it in the dimension of physicality, or you do it in the dimension of the emotion. And when you receive your wish in the dimension of physicality, sit down and look back how the energy side came together to bring it that you receive it the way you wanted it in dimension of physicality. Be the food within your body to live, be the meeting of somebody you wished, or receiving something in dimension of physicality that it was your wish. Then it doesn't become a magic. Now you understand the method that it works. You understand the system behind it. We go for a break and we come back. And I hope you understand the connection between your wish and your dreams, as one is the key to that.